I was railing on Rutgers because what Rutgers had done after they unceremoniously, dumped Condoleezza Rice, or she backed out for whatever the reason exactly. They called Eric LeGrand. Eric LeGrand was a football player for Rutgers, and in 2010 he got hit on the field. He became paralyzed for life, and he was so excited. He tweeted it out. He said he was writing his speech over the weekend, blah, blah, blah. And then they call him on Monday and say, never mind, we got former New Jersey Governor Tom Kean instead. Well, there was an outrage today when that became known, and now they say that they've re-invited him and that it was a miscommunication, and no one ever meant to imply to Eric LeGrand that he was going to be the only speaker. Now, to me, this doesn't change it. This is still a bunch of baloney, and the proof will be if this man who's confined to a wheelchair and is African American, by the way, as was Condi, and I'm starting to sense a pattern here at Rutgers, if he gets paid the same speaker's fee that Condi was going to get, that Tom Kean is going to get, or if he just gets the honor of speaking and no fee.
Well, it sounds like Rutgers needs to get its act together, because if you look at their sports department, they had that male basketball coach for the men's team who was throwing balls and hitting players, and they fired him and replaced him with a woman who also was hitting her female players at her last job. So they don't seem to be very organized and have their act together. I think Mr. LeGrand's appearance will be less well remunerated just because he's not as big a name as Condoleezza Rice or Tom Kean. But that doesn't mean he should get yanked around like he has been.
Yeah, and I'll tell you, first I thought they found out that maybe, God forbid, and I don't know any of this is true, but maybe he once made a pro-life statement, or maybe he said something wrong about Barack Obama once, or maybe he praised Clarence Thomas once to a friend, or maybe he actually said, I believe in traditional marriage. I mean, maybe he had the nerve to do one of those things which resulted in him getting bounced originally.
Thought crimes all. Yeah. There's nothing more close-minded than the open-minded liberal, and very few places on the planet is that maxim more epitomized than on college campi around the country. One of the books I'm going to write is going to be called College is for Dummies, because I cannot fathom why it's of any value to go to a place and go get $100,000, $150,000 in debt to be subjected to a bunch of professors who foster this sort of leftist ideological rigidity and totalitarianism.
I think you said that once before when Peter Morisi was on.
Yes, I did. And I knew.
Yeah.
Well, him tremendously.
Yeah, no. Well, what I'd like you to do is, at least if you can't dedicate a portion of the book to me, at least let me write something on the back of the jacket.
Oh, hey, I'd be honored and thrilled if that. I'll try to get Peter to write one too.
Yeah, all right, there you go. Maybe Eric LeGrand, Condi Rice.
Yeah.
All right, so let's.
Heaven forbid he said something somewhat conservative at any point in his existence.
Yeah, no, very true, very sad. All right, let's move to the situation with the Benghazi Select Committee. Yesterday we had the announcement that Trey Gowdy was going to be the the chair, and we had heard calls over the weekend from some Democrats in the House that the Democrats should boycott this because it's a show, there's nothing there, etc. But Nancy Pelosi today has said, they say she's rebuffed calls from Democrats to boycott the committee. But she says that if this review is to be fair, and we know the United States is all about total fairness, as a matter of fact, we should all have exactly the same and eat the same and have the same income and live in the same kind of house and drive the same kind of cars. But she wants half the committee to be Democrat and half the committee to be Republican. I got to tell you, if John Boehner goes for that, I'm done.
Yeah. Yeah, again, as we heard incessantly ad nauseum after 2012, elections have consequences. And the way select committees are impaneled is the majority party has more members than the minority party. And the 2010 and 2012 elections have consequences. The Republicans are in the majority. They get more members. The take my toys, take my ball and go home approach would be a little ridiculous. It's kind of like again a football team saying we know that we're the better team, so we're not going to play you. You look
Right.
if they've got if the Republicans have nothing on Obama and Hillary Clinton and whomever else on Benghazi, and you were the Democrats, wouldn't you want to show up and make that case and demonstrate in the hearing and in the on the panel that they have nothing? To pull out demonstrates, I think, weakness, not strength.
No, well, one would think that would be the direction. And very quickly, John Kerry, the State Department tells us, will not show up to testify before the House Oversight Committee on May 21st, as he's been subpoenaed to do. One would think Kerry would do the same thing, have nothing to hide, right?
Well, yes, and we've been going through this all the time. Remember, Hillary Clinton had a head injury, and then she was ill and wouldn't testify for a while.
All right, Seton, stay where you are. We'll come back. Seton Motley's with us. Hopefully we can find John Gizzi here on the Steve Malzberg Show. The Malzberg panel returns.